Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, Bancroft joining all once again, bring you all another deck profile. Not just any deck profile, but I'm finally taking care of Gotenks. Had a lot of stuff I had to take care of in life, and now that's been taken care of, let's get to the recording. Like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click there for a reason. And there's a comment section, so let me know what you're doing, how's life, and what are you playing right now. And let's get into the profile. So Gotenks, this is of course the returns one, the reboot. Did it need to be rebooted? No, but I'm glad it was. So, when this card attacks, you draw one card. If you have 2 or more energy when you activate a Union skill, you may flip this card to its back. If you do, you draw one card, switch up to one of your energies in active mode, and add cards from your life till you have 6 left. Or if your life is 4 or less, you may draw one, switch one energy to active mode, and that you do your normal awaken. Once you've awakened, once per turn, when you activate a Union skill, you play a ghost token with 15,000 power in rest mode. When this card attacks, draw one card. Activate battle once per turn. Remove one of your ghost tokens from the game. You use up to one mono green card with 5,000 combo power from your drop in a combo with its skills negated for battle. So what's cool about that is that the ghost tokens you play really are never going to be, or you're never going to swing with, because you're only establishing once per turn, because that auto is only a once per turn thing, and you can't activate unions during your opponent's turn. So a lot of times you're just using those tokens that's on the battlefield as a combo piece. You just kind of pop it to combo a card, and you immediately put that card that you comboed with into your Z energy. So it just helps you cycle things from drop to Z energy without having to worry about using cards from your hand, which is pretty nice. So getting to the actual deck itself, of course, we're still playing the main starter of the engine, which is Goku. I tried experimenting with this being at a 3-up, and I was like, no, that's stupid. I think it needs to be a 4-up, because not only is this card for 1 energy thinning your deck out, but it's also making sure you have fusion cards. So, if you're not familiar with this card, when this card's played, you add up to 1 green card with an energy cost of 6 or less, and Union Fusion skill from your deck to your hand. Then you shuffle your deck afterwards. Once you play this card on turn 1, on turn 2, you activate main, pay 1 green energy, you place this card in its drop area, choose 1 card in your hand with Union Fusion skill, reveal it, and then for example, pretty much revealing a Gotenks, and then you get to pull a Trunks and a Goten from your deck and add it to your hand, which is pretty cool, as long as the energy cost is between 3 and 7. And the ideal target to pull is the new Gotenks Fusion Confusion. What's great about this one is that this one's free. So this way you can pay the one on turn 2, activate Union Fusion on this card, awaken your leader, go back to 2 energy. From here on out, you're able to start continue your turn 2 with both energy up and a 10k swing. And that's fine, because a lot of times your opponent won't be awakened on turn 2, so you have a 10k swing that goes straight into their lead. And yeah. So it is a limit once. You can only do it once per turn. It has deflect and barrier, so when it comes in play, it's staying in play. Activate main. If your leader card is green and has Gotenks in its character name, and you place this card in your drop area, add up to 1 Sun Goten and 1 Trunks Youth, both green, from your drop to your hand. Choose to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 3 or less, and you KO it. So it can snipe a card, which is pretty nice. But what's great about this thing is that once you use it as a fusion target, you get those pieces back to your hand, so you continue making fusion plays for this turn. For example, like I said, on the first fusion, on turn 2, you awaken, so boom. Now if you fusion again on turn 2, you get to activate this auto, which plays to Ghost Token in rest mode. Other targets we have, playing 3 of the Beyond series, deflect for 1 green energy. You draw 1 card as part of the Union Fusion cost, and then activate main once per turn. If your leader card has Gotenks in its character name, and you remove 1 of your ghost tokens from the game, you draw 1 card, then you choose 1. Either choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. There's no energy requirements on that one. Or you choose 1 of your opponent's unisons and remove a marker from it. So once again, we have this cool little feature where you're drawing 2 for 1 energy initially, because you're always activate main. And even though unisons aren't as big of a problem as they used to be now, because there's a lot of cards that can just clear them very easily, Gotenks still runs the idea of either clearing up markers or just popping cards on the battlefield, which I really do like that they carry those effects over with the new cards. Let's kind of touch base on some older cards. Really do like it. Gotenks, the Grim Reaper of Justice. It's a fantastic one. You're paying 2 for the Union Fusion. If your leader card's green Gotenks, when you play this card, you draw 2 cards and choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards and you KO it. And this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill or KO. You get to add pieces back to your hand, so it helps you keep stuff in your hand for either combo pieces or just for the later turn fusion targets. But it's just a great dual attack, 25k. Now going into the Union fusions, or sorry, the fusion pieces, we got we play 4 of the new one, which is SS Sun Goten and Trunks. What's great about this one is that when you use this as a fusion piece, it boosts the leader by 5,000 power. But when this card is placed in your drop area from your Z energy, you move from games. You gotta be kind of careful about how you do this, because once you get into your Z energy and use this card as a piece to pay for, it will go away at some point. But what's also great about this card is that the activate battle, if your leader card is green Gotenks with Gotenks in its character name, and one of your green cards with Gotenks in its character name is in battle, you can use this card in a combo from your drop area. At the end of your battle, when this card is sent to your drop, you add to your warp. So what you do pretty much is that you can use this. What I would do is a defensive play. So I would fuse with this thing on some of the bigger fusions, either the 6 drop or the other 3 drop. And then when it goes to my opponent's turn, they swing at my leader. I can just activate the battle on this card to combo if it goes to 20, and then immediately put this into my Z energy. And that way I don't have to waste any resources in my hand during my opponent's turn to get out of attacks. Now, granted, both these effects are limit 1, so you can be careful. Don't try to use 2 of these as a fusion piece unless you really have to. I still play 1 of the old one, mainly because you can play this card as a 15k battle and then activate its main to search your search your deck for more targets. So for 1 green energy, if you leader cards, green Gotenks, and you place 1 card from your life to your drop area, you can place a card from your hand. That's cool. You can be screwed by that, so you just gotta be careful when you do that. But the other active main is that if you leader cards, green Gotenks, and you return this card to its owner's hand, look up top 5 cards of your deck, up to 1 green Gotenks card, or 1 green Unison with specific cost of 2 and 1 to your hand. So like I said, you can, if you want to crit a life, get another 15k swing out there, you can, and then potentially search for another fusion target for a later turn. It's always great. I do play 3 of the Bonds of Friendship Trunks, because when this card's used as a fusion piece, you can turn around and search top 7 cards of your deck for a Unison with specific cost of 2, add to your hand. And I play 1 of the Brimming with Talent Goten. The reason why I played this one as a 1-of is mainly because it's recyclable. So if I need a target that if I don't need to worry about the search on this Trunks and I just need a target for this one, or even if I have this in my hand, I can combo it off. I can pay 1 green energy to bring it back to my hand. And reason why you would do that, really, even though so many cards in this deck now have the ability to just you play it and then you kind of bring things back to your hand, is because against red decks, especially now with Broly Crown being played a lot more frequently, this is a target that allowed me to go down to 1 energy every turn if I need to. So it's kind of why I keep it in my deck, so in case I come across a red deck, I can just, oh cool, I'll just cycle this effect until I get down to 1 energy if I have nothing else to play, that is. Going to the the Unisons, I do play a split, a 3-3 split on both the old one and the new one. I did play originally a 3-3-1, the one was Golden Frieza. The only problem with that, though, is that a lot of times you need 3 energy to do its effective, correct? Yeah, to negate with it. And if a green deck now is leaving 3 open energy as a pass, it's really obvious what they're going to play. And so your opponents can play around that if they wanted to. And I never really had the energy for it. So I was like, I'm just going to cut it out and just stick with this package. This package works great. So just kind of touch base on the old package. When you activate Union, you draw 1 card, so it helps you just add more cards to your hand. The +2, you choose all of your mono green battle cards and they gain revenge until the start of your next turn. The -7 is that you get to pretty much get rid of one of your opponent's life. You look at it and you get rid of 1 card. And then your opponent chooses 3 cards in their hand and discards them. And then the newer one has Empower 5, so I could play it later on the road if I happen to be out of one on the board. And it just say pay 2, boom, it goes up to potentially 6 right off the bat because I paid it back to back. But once per turn, when you activate a Union skill, you add a marker to this card. This card's naturally just a +1, so being able to activate that Union every turn is fantastic because it just allows you to kind of initially be a +2 overall. The +1 is that you pretty much you place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, then you reveal 1 of your Union Fusions cards in your hand, and you could add pretty much to go to the Trunks from your drop or deck to your hand. So it helps thin the deck out. You're only really pulling 1 card out at a time, but a lot of times what I like to do is just add a card, I'm going to add back to my hand to the bottom of my deck, and that way I'm adding that card back, and I'm pulling another one out of my deck and just slowly thinning the deck out itself. -6, your opponent discards 2 cards from your hand. Not as effective, but it can come in handy. But a lot of times I'm just getting that, thinning my deck out to hopefully draw into other cards I need. And once you activate, once you play Unison, obviously we have cards such as Charismatic Villain that are available to play. The reason I play 3 in the main is because so many of these cards I've already gone over could potentially just pop a card as part of their effects. So it's becoming less and less worrisome of needing to play Charismatic, especially the fact that since this is a green deck, we are playing Dormant at a 4 of. And which could definitely be decided down to a 3, or even just play 3 in general. It's not a problem, at least in my opinion. So yeah, 3 Charismatic for Dormant. It's green. Going to cards that, something I just started teching in with a lot of green cards, especially decks that require Unisons. To the Doria. It's a counterplay for your leader card. If your leader card is mono green and you have a green Unison card in play, the battle card being played, his energy cost 2 or less, is placed in the owner's drop area instead of being played. Then you play this card for 1 energy. I'm initially stopping my opponent from playing Floodgate Control because most cards that are now Floodgate are energy cost 2 or less. So just having this ready to go at all times is fantastic. Especially like I said, this is a Unison deck. It needs its Unison to kind of get a lot of its other effects off. You can deal with this deck without the Unison, which is fine. But since I am playing the idea that I want my Unisons, having 2 of these is fantastic. And then I also play 1 Dark Death Ball, just in case I need to use it. Typically, it's better against blue on this card, but if you have a green Unison in play, the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, is placed in the owner's drop area instead. Then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 1, and you KO it. Now, this is a 2 energy cost card, or permanent. If all of your energy is mono green, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying the energy cost by choosing 2 other cards in your hand and discarding them. So initially this can be a free play. I think I remember like when the early match I had played with Jake, he went to go play the 4-drop Sin, and I just played Dark Death Ball to get rid of that, and that got rid of his 1-drop afterwards. So it kind of serves its purpose in certain decks as well, but mainly it's a blue target. For extra defense, 2 Homicidal Clones, because it's a negate that plays a blocker that helps slow stuff down. For super combos, I do a 1-3 split. Play 1 skill still Chilai, just because sometimes it's great to tap a leader or even a Unison. Right? Yeah, leader or Unison. And play 3 of the Gohans. Now, yes, I understand they're not all hollow. I have had hollow ones in the past. I don't know what happened to my hollow ones, so hopefully I can find them and fix that up, but hey, whatever. Bottom deck card, draw 2. Fantastic. And the reason why I do that is because of the Unison. A lot of people are like, I just play Paragus, and it's like, okay, cool, I'll just draw 2 Warp 1. But with Gohan, I could bottom deck a fusion target, or a fusion piece, and then you immediately use the Unison, put another card bottom deck, and pull both those back to my hand. That way, I'm not losing out on cards. At least that's my justification for it. I do play the 8-drop Gotenks as a 2-of. The reason I didn't go over earlier because Goku can't search this one, so this is the only Gotenks that's not searchable in the deck. It's Deflect, Dual Attack. It's 8-drop 30k, which is fantastic. It does cost 4 if you have 4 more energy and you draw 2 cards as part of the Union Fusion. So this is a turn 4 play. Like I said, it draws you 2 cards, fantastic. But if your leader card is a Z leader or you have a Z battle card in play, reduce the energy cost of this card's Union's skill by 1 green. So initially give me 3 energy on your turn 4. And then, if your leader card's green and has Gotenks in its character name, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, KO it, play 2 ghost tokens, 15,000 power, and your opponent discards 1 card in hand. Those ghost tokens that this one plays, keep in mind, your leader will play 1 automatically because you activate the Union Fusion. So you're having 1 in rest mode, and you have 2 in active mode. The 2 in active mode are just additional swings you can play, which you can swing with, which is fantastic. And then you can initially just pop that 1 that's already in rest mode to on the activate battle for the leader. And then you have the other ones ready to go during your opponent's turn as activate battles in case they survive your turn 4 play. For as a 1-of, I played the new Kaioken Son Goku just because it's for 1 energy. You're playing a 15k crit, and your opponent chooses 1 card in your hand and discards it. And it's another way of just make sure I get down to 1 energy during those red matchups as well. I play a 1-of the Dark Broly Heartless Berserker. What I like hanging on to this card mainly until my opponent plays a negate blocker, and then I'll just establish this card afterwards and just pop the token. And then I went with Bardock or Origin of the Legend. The reason why I went this way is because the deck has a lot of very aggressive plays, but I was thinking more of those decks that could crack back very quickly and early. On a turn 3 play, if I needed to play this card, if I happen to see it, I can shut down my opponent's next turn and potentially get some good damage out there on them. Ultimate Deflect, Double Strike, Dual Attack. For 3 energy, if your leader is a Saiyan card and your opponent has 3 or more energy, you play this card from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's cards, switch it to rest mode, activate main, remove this card from the game, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignore your barrier, you KO them during your opponent's next turn. They can only attack 1 time with battle cards. The thought process, yes, once again, was what would be my hardest matchups, and that's obviously red. So stopping the massive aggro-ness of red, especially if they go into turn 4, this is just a fantastic play to go to kind of slow them down, because I don't really have much of an option outside of that, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and touch into the Z deck. It's very simple, very quickly. It's probably what you expect. So obviously I played 2 of the Z leader, mainly because it has the activate battle, which will remove itself. So for 1 green, if your life's 5 or less, mono green Gotenks, you play this on top of it. Auto, when you activate a union skill, you play 1 ghost token, 50,000 power and rest mode, so the same auto. Activate main now is you draw 1 card, switch this card to active mode, and then activate battle, remove 1 Goten, 1 Trunks U from your Z energy from the game. This card gets plus 50,000 power and double strike for the battle, and you remove this card at the end of the battle, remove this card from the game. So initially, you pay 1 energy, 3 Z energy to evolve, and you typically do this after you swung, or after you swing for your leader attack, because you get to draw on the leader swing, and then once the attack's over, you activate main to restand it, and then you just swing again. So 2 of the freezes. All my cards I'm pretty much going to be swinging with are energy cost 2 or more, so it really helps this effect. Deflect, Double Strike. When this card is played, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards. Energy cost 5 or less, KO it. Auto once return, place 1 of your Z energies under his drop. When 1 of your other green battle cards with energy cost 2 or more attack, your opponent discards 1 card from hand. So like I said, for 2 energy, it's a double strike. And like I said, I'm always playing the 3 drop every turn, which is a free fusion. So I can pretty much play this one, play the free Gotenks, swing the free Gotenks, use the auto, put a Z energy into my drop. Boom, my opponents discard 1 card before they even think about comboing. And then it's 15k double strike afterwards. And then 3 of the Piccolo, 1 energy, 2 Z energy. Auto, if your leader card's green and has Gotenks in its character name, and you discard 2 cards from your hand. When this card's played, you play up to 1 Gotenks Fusion Confusion from your deck. Shove your deck afterwards. The Fusion Confusion it's playing, the 2 cards you're pretty much pitching should be a Goten and a Trunks. That way you can turn around and just reestablish them back in your hand after you use the Gotenks effect. Now that will not proc the leader's Awaken, because you're not using Union Fusion to play that card. But the other ones returns, like I said, pretty fantastic. You switch this card rest mode. When you attack with Gotenks, energy cost 5 or more, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and use it in a combo area. And last, we're going to go over the sideboard. So starting with the sideboard, I do play 2. It's a Son Goku Fated Rivals. Beforehand, I always played in green decks. I would play like the Chill, which had to activate main for 2 energy. You get rid of a barrier card. Or in Gotenks, I side in the 5 drop. But I didn't really. I think this is just better on its own. Double Strike Barrier. If you're for 2 energy, if your opponent has 3 or more energy, you place 1 of your Saiyan, Earthling, or Necking cards, all green, from your Z energy to the bottom of your owner's deck. You play this card from your hand. And the reason why I chose this one over going with the Gotenks is mainly because if I were to say super combo, and I put that in my Z energy, then I can turn around and put that super combo, because I'm playing mainly Gohans, or the Great Saiyaman, I can put that back into my deck and then use all of my effects. I'm shuffling my deck, so I have a higher chance of seeing that super combo once again. So helping cycle those super combos back, which is fantastic. But it also pops a battle card barrier, which is fantastic. Rounding out numbers, Boo Boo Volleyball. It's just another hard negate, because Dormant is not a hard negate. Your opponent's still getting an attack in. And this one here, I could choose 1 card in my hand. This card, if I do, I could add up to 1 Gotenks and Trunks back to my hand. So pretty much I can bring those cards I've been fusing back to my hand naturally, and just discard a Trunks or a Goten as part of that process and bring it back to my hand. An extra Charismatic in case I need it. And next is the Doria. just in case. If I'm playing against blue, Dark Death Ball. I could play another one of the newer 3-drop Gotenks, but this is a winter one. It looks really cool. But in my honest opinion, you probably should play. I should probably do a 4th of the newer Gotenks because it's potentially a draw 2, where this one's only getting you a 1 draw. So this is just kind of rounding numbers out in case I need it. Hand control is pretty much dead, but just in case someone wants to bring it out, boom, there we go. Or green or even yellow Unison-based decks. And then for big boys, so 3 big armor, just in case Gogeta or Mecha for obviously Gogeta or anything else. That's why I kind of do like a mix, a 3-1. For those decks, I like to play really tall cards as well, super early, or even at critical moments of the game. I want to make sure I have a way of stopping it, and this is the best way I think green can stop them. That way I can go into the crackback and hopefully win. So yeah, sorry it's a little bit long. Still not all there. But hey, thank you for tuning in. Keep in mind, like I said, there's buttons. Click them. They're there for a reason. Read your cards. Know your plays. Fluff out.